Hey everyone, Vlhadus here. In today's video, I want to give you the top 5 reasons why you should be excited for the upcoming MMORPG Ashes of Creation. Let's get into it. Reason number 5, no pay to win. This is something that is discussed a lot in the MMORPG community on what MMOs are pay to win and which ones are not. I am very glad to say that Ashes of Creation will not be pay to win, but don't take it from me. Listen to the head of the company, Steven Sharif, tell you himself.
Because we're a non-box purchase game, meaning there's no box price to play Ashes of Creation, it is only a subscription. That's beneficial because it reduces the barrier of entry, and we want a high population, obviously. But at the same time, one of the ways we augment the revenue flow to sustain constant updates and new chapter releases and additional content within the game is through a cosmetic only marketplace. That means absolutely no pay to win whatsoever, and that will be adhered to forever.
Just to say that Steven is an MMORPG player first and has been burned by the pay to win mechanics in the MMOs he played, and I don't think he ever wants to bring that pay to win aspect into his own game. Another thing I want to mention is that he's very successful before creating Intrepid Studios, so this man isn't swayed by money. At the end of the day though, we'll have to wait and see if he keeps his promise, but I'm hopeful he will. Reason number 4, naval content. Most of you know that I come from World of Warcraft, and that game has no naval system built in. Recently, playing Lost Ark, the naval content really wasn't what I expected. I mean, you use your ship just to island hop and that's about it. Now, I don't mind that in the naval feature, but when that's all you do, it's kind of boring and a little uninspired in my opinion. But it's also very hard for someone like myself to talk about other MMO naval systems because I myself have never experienced like the Arc Ages naval system or even Black Desert Online system either. Looking at those videos at their naval systems, I believe combat is going to be important to have, which Ashes of Creation will have with their ships. Also, they're planning to have naval world bosses to face as well. This is something that I find to be like, what? This could be a lot of fun, or a bloody mess real quick. Looking at the Kraken boss in Arc Age, that looks like a lot of fun. In Ashes of Creation, you'll be able to have different tiers of ships depending on how big you want to have them. The bigger the ship, more people you can have firing potion launchers or other weapons at combating ships. There will also be a level of customization you can do with your own ship, which is always a plus. Guild emblems, sails, shields, cloaks, and other armor attachments will be available to further customize your ship. Either way, I am very excited for the naval content for me personally. It will be a great experience to sail in the amazing water they created for Ashes. I mean, seriously, look at the water in Ashes. It's so damn gorgeous. I cannot wait to sail the open seas of Vera. Reason number 3, meaningful professions. Coming from World of Warcraft, you know as well as I do that the professions in that game are very dull, boring, and completely uninspired. This will not be the case for Ashes of Creation. The economy in general will be very important to you as a player since there are so many systems connected to it. As it stands right now, there will be 18 professions at the launch of Ashes of Creation. I have mentioned professions in some of my early videos, but I want to mention that you must choose a path in the artisan skill tree, i.e. your profession, for your character. Within each of the 3 parent artisan paths, gathering, processing, and crafting, there are different professions to choose from. Your character may only ever master one of these parent paths. Of course, we will have to see how the point allotment works in Alpha 2, but Steven has a real passion for professions and wanting them to be deep and integral to the economy of Ashes. A lot of MMOs fail to implement a decent profession system. Gathering will be extremely important as things will be randomized in zones, and seeing a certain herb in a certain place, you may not cross that herb in the same place again. So seeing a gathering node will give you something you want to harvest, and if you have the time and backspace too. So gather your nodes, people. Reason number 2, castle and node sieges. Wow, okay, where do I even start? What other MMO right now has huge 100 versus 100 battles? Nobody. And Ashes of Creation wants to push the boundaries to the limit with 250 versus 250 siege battles, and even up to 500 versus 500 battles. Like, what am I even saying at this point? I know some of you watching right now are rolling your eyes, and believe me, I did the same thing. The engineering team at Intrepid have really been doing some amazing work on the back end to bring something truly special regarding castle and node siege combat. Something that looks completely not possible has been slowly turning into the real deal. In the Alpha 1, they were able to test this, and the lag, from what people have said, was okay. Not great, but also not terrible either. Again, looking at WoW's Battlegrounds, where you lag out of a 40-man battleground, is really bad and feels absolutely terrible. I want to reserve my judgment until I get to test this out myself in the Alpha 2, but come on. Just looking at the footage and seeing the progress they have made since Alpha 1 gives me so much hope. I will call it out right here and right now. If the siege system works out and we have a minimal lag in a 250 versus 250 siege battle, Ashes of Creation will be known as the huge siege battler MMO. Now, let's talk about the number one reason why I believe you will absolutely love Ashes of Creation: the node system. This feature has never been done before on this scale in any MMO ever created. The node system is going to be an ever-changing, ever-evolving system that consists of 6 tiers of progression. I want to quote Margaret Crone because I think she said what the nodes are beautifully. Nodes are the heart of the world. They create the ebb and flow of life. At their core, nodes are preset points in the world, wrapped in the zone of influence and surrounded by geographic areas that change over time based upon player participation. The world map is divided into regions, with each region containing multiple nodes. As the node advances, it influences the types of content within itself and the surrounding areas. Players do not create nodes, but if they are part of the government for a specific node, they have the ability to influence diplomacy and modify building types / construction and services within that node. There will be 103 node locations at launch, each with its own impact on the narrative and development of the world. In short, the nodes will level and evolve as you level around the node, and depending on what type of node you're leveling, certain bits of content will become available for you. In WoW, back in Mist of Pandaria, we had the Isle of Thunder, and that island changed and opened over time, but nothing like this. Take that premise and times it by 1,000, and that's pretty much the node system. I'll put a link in the description for every system if you want to look at it more in depth and be blown away. Personally, the node system is the feature I never knew I wanted in an MMO. Being a part of creating and shaping a world, having real stakes, having a working economy with real in-depth professions, battling other players in a massive 250 versus 250 battle over castles and nodes with absolutely no pay-to-win mechanics, what more could I ask for in an MMO? Thank you for watching.